I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your cattle market summary for the week ending May the 12th, where if you look back at last week, it looked like we were coming in for a big wreck of the week, and then very surprisingly, Monday was sharply higher on the board and sharply higher again in your big volume feeder cattle markets on Monday there, which really surprised everybody, mostly me. But then the pressure that we knew was coming just got insurmountable and started coming heavy on Tuesday, and then just continued pretty much through the week with your fat cattle trading a whole lot lower, not as big a volume as what we've been seeing, but a whole lot lower on your fats, and your cash feeders started trading a whole lot lower too. And then when we come in on Friday morning, it looked like we were going to continue to do that, and then a tweet of all things turned everything around on its ear again, as President Trump tweeted out that it looked like we were going to start sending some beef to China again, and that's been kind of a subject that's been talked about without any real hard evidence. But now it's looking like that he's struck part of a deal with China to start taking some U.S. beef, and pretty quick too, supposedly within the next couple of months. July the 16th in particular is the date that said that we should be making some shipments to them, as long as they get everything in order there. And this is just a continuation of President Trump putting business people in his cabinet and doing things in a real practical sort of way. A friend of mine was privy to a conversation that the new Agriculture Secretary, Sonny Perdue, had with some people, and he had said that just a few weeks ago that President Trump was talking with him in the Oval Office and asked him if Perdue could give him a few selling points on U.S. beef, because he was going to be talking with China about striking up this trade deal. So it's really a neat thing to see. It just looks like everything's being done in a real practical sort of way, and that's what we like to see, you know, in the agriculture sector anyway. But you look at the board for last week, live cattle futures. Look at the August contract now for a while. Here, Monday was up 207. Everybody figured it'd be down, but up 207. Your nearby was up even more than that. But then Tuesday down $2.60. Wednesday down a quarter. Thursday down 72. But then Friday, looking like it was going to be down, that tweet turned things around, went back up $2.10, with August ending the week at 121.77, actually up 60 cents for the week. Your June spot live cattle futures contract ended the week at 125.17, around a $13 basis to the top of last week's cash established market there. Feeder cattle contracts, the August there, Monday was up 322, very surprisingly. Tuesday down to $4.50 limit. Wednesday down 322. Thursday down $1.60, and then Friday after that tweet up the 450 limit there. And if you look, you know, 4 of those scratch out, which just leaves down 160 to end the week, with August at 150.182. Your May spot feeder cattle contract ended the week at 144.55. Fats didn't have a huge trade, a lot lighter than what we've been seeing, but through Thursday 74,400 head. You know, we can't get after the guys. They're trying to stay current and continue to market. We're getting into May now. We know we're getting into some cattle that are going to be getting ready. We're not going to be near as tight, even in the northern plains, on current markets ready supplies. They want to continue to dig into those cattle and keep everything green. Our actual weights are coming in, and it looks like they've been pretty much bottomed out just under 850. So it's probably a good idea to stay current. The Southern Plains sold most of their cattle at 138. Northern Plains didn't sell a whole lot, but 136 and 137. And then that dress trade, after we pretty much established market at 224, they've had to have sold a lot of cattle under that, because the weighted average through Thursday is just over 220 and a half. So down quite a bit there on your fat cattle. We hate to give up that market position, but it seems like we've had a lot of it given to us as a gift several times here in the past several weeks. Box beef cutout values on the average of last week's trade. Choice carcasses at $244.55, up almost $12. Select carcasses $224.54, up $9.74. We've got a spread between choice and select of $20 now, and just goes to show you how green those cattle are that we've been pulling. Your slaughter for last week, 609,000, down just 3,000 from the previous week, up 11,000 from the same week a year ago. Our year-to-date slaughter is now up 5.8% compared to last year at this time. If you look at your cash feeders, pretty much by the end of the week, $6 to $10 lower. In your heaviest losses, of course, were in your Wednesday, Thursday sales there. After we started out on Monday, like in Oklahoma City and places, steady to $3 higher kind of on your feeders. Should take that back, but I'm not going out on a limb again and telling you guys how much lower it's going to be, but I would assume that your big volume Monday sales will be a little under restraint, but depending on how strong this tweet is. Of course, it went up all it could on the feeder cattle board Friday, up the limit. So, you know, if it would happen to lock up there again, you know, we may turn around and start selling these cash feeders higher again. But real-time index on Beef Market Central at 142.62 at the end of the week, down 643 from the end of the previous week. And I wanted to talk a little bit here on this summary report about the health of the sale barns. You know, 25, 30 years ago, it was looking like the sale barns were going to be a thing of the past. The video auctions had taken over. Everybody was going to either sell direct, or they was going to sell through video auctions, or just post cattle for sale in the country. But sale barns have really caught on here in the last 10, 15 years, even more than they were. And the sale barns are really healthy, and we were thinking that the only sale barns that would be around would be your little mom and pop Saturday sales, selling you know, a handful of cows, maybe a nurse cow, a few baby calves, a goat and a pig or something. But those are the ones that are really going by the wayside. Your sale barns that are still viable and going is your big regional markets. And they're getting a lot of cattle. We talked about this last week some, but you look in central Oklahoma there. They had Oklahoma City National Stockyards and El Reno at OKC West. You know, probably 25, 30 years ago, we had some of your commission firms from the city move out west there to El Reno and start that new thing. And everybody wondered, well, they did things right. They've gained steam, and the latest thing they did was move to a 2-day stock or calf and yearling sale. They're selling your lighter cattle on Tuesday and your big yearlings and feeders on Wednesday, and it has just ballooned their receipts even more. But just those two sales right there, selling feeders and stockers, I'm not counting their cow market, last week sold 32,800 head of feeder cattle through the ring there. That compares to 19,700 head last year. You know, I grew up in a sale barn. My granddad built this first sale barn in Clayton, New Mexico. It's still going today, although limited numbers because they just don't have the cattle out there anymore. But, you know, my dad went to 6 sales a week when I was a kid. You know, I'd go with him anytime I could. He would never let me wear a ball cap or go bareheaded to the sale. So always made me wear a cowboy hat, and I still do that today. You know how you pick things up. But you know, sale barns are a way of life, and a wonderful way of life. I will always say it's the hardest business to be in, because if you're going to be in the restaurant business, you know you've got food there for people to come in and eat. You just have to get them to come in and eat it. But when you have a sale barn, you've got to rely on the public for both sides of your trade. You have to rely on your sellers to bring cattle in. You have to rely on buyers, and as any good sale barn man would say, you have got to be prepared to buy everything that comes through that ring if you have to, depending on the way the market is, the way things go. But you know, Oklahoma is a good sale barn state, but mostly concentrated right there in central Oklahoma with those big volume sales. Some other big sales, I was in charge of the federal state market reporting of Missouri for many years. And Missouri is a great state. I know I was a native of Texas, and Texas has more cattle than anywhere else, but we had roughly 10 sale barns in Missouri that were bigger than the biggest sale barn in Texas as far as receipts go. And that just goes to show how people sell cattle. You got smaller producers. A lot of your guys in Texas got load lots. They're closer to the feed lots, and so they're selling cattle that way. But you get up north, Iowa's a decent sale barn state. Nebraska is a great sale barn state. For you guys that haven't been up there to sale barns there, the way that us in the southern plains and in the southeastern places line up with goosenecks and stock trailers, they line up with pots in Nebraska. South Dakota is maybe the best sale barn state that there is, but moving big numbers of cattle through sale barns, and that's the best way to sell them. And you notice as we've had this reinvigoration of selling negotiated cash fat cattle, we've gotten a lot more leverage on the market, and things have been going good. That's what people in sale barns want. They want to put their cattle in front of people, have them sit and look across the way at each other and bid against each other until somebody wins. And we've got more farmer feeders in the Midwest. A lot of that is coming back up there from years of moving it down south. It seems like the winters aren't as bad there. It's a good way to walk that corn to town, and you got a lot more demand there. But the sale barn way of life is not going anywhere, and it's a great thing to say, great thing to see, and I'm really proud that the sale barns are doing as well as they are. But here at DV Auction, we post about 60 or 70 sales a week, regular sale barns, plus all of our big bull sales and production sales of all different kinds. But get on there and check them out. You can sit at home and enjoy the sales. You won't be able to smell the cigarette smoke, the greasy cheeseburgers, and the dust and the manure, which really tops it off and makes it a great thing. But most of these sale barns won't let you smoke in them anymore anyway. But that's your summary for this week from a home DV auction office here in Canyon, Texas. We'll talk to you next week.